Hi guys, if you hear any noises in the background or any voices, ignore it. My husband knows one of his friends over the downstairs playing on the Xbox, so just ignore it. They're just having a bit of fun downstairs. They know I'm recording, but I'm not going to force them to stay quiet. And this video wasn't a planned video, which will become evident as I get on. This is actually a bit of a rant. I have no idea when you're going to see this, whether this is going to happen before I get a resolution, whether it's going to come out before or after. I'm not going to mention names. I'll probably have to mention the station names, but I'm not going to mention business names or anything like that, because I'm not that type of person. But I just wanted to get this off my chest and see if I'm sort of overreacting, which I don't think I am. Now, as a preface to this, I'm disabled, as is my mother. My mother has a lot more trouble walking than I do, and I already have a lot of trouble walking. No, it's not because of our weight. My mother is a big lady like me, not quite as big as me, but she's a bit smaller than me. But we both have problems walking. We both have EDS, but she also has severe spinal instability on her lower spine. My spinal instability is on my upper spine, hers is on her lower spine. And she's had 3 operations on her spine, and she walks with a frame. Not long ago, she came to visit us for a week, which she does on a regular basis. And we have a set way of doing things because we know what she's like about travelling, because she doesn't like travelling, so we plan everything for her between me and my stepdad, and he makes sure she gets on the correct train at Accrington, which is near where I come from originally. So to make sure that she gets on that correct train at Accrington, he makes sure she gets on, that she's safe, that she's fine, that she's got everything, all that. And then the train ends, the service terminates at York, at which point me and my husband meet her, and my husband gets her off the train, make sure everything's alright. Usually we have my father-in-law, he comes with us to pick her up from the station, we drop everything off here, and then my father-in-law then takes us out, and we go out for, like a brew or something to eat and get a bit of shopping. So my in-laws get to see my mum. And on this particular trip, although the train is supposed to go from Accrington to York, and you're not supposed to change at any point in between those 2 stops, on occasion it does happen at one of the major stations between those 2 points, which I'm not going to name, because if I tell you the name of that particular station, then you'll be able to find out what company it is. But I'm trying my best not to name the company, because as of this moment, this issue, although they think it's resolved, isn't. She had to stop at this particular station. They didn't tell her until 5 minutes before they got to the station. If she had known that that the train, she would have to change her train, she would not have got on that particular train, and she would have gone on the train an hour later, because she can't handle things like changing and going to places that she doesn't know anything about, and because she's not good at just doing things. Now, most stations have you've got to book support. In other words, you've got to book help to get on and off the train, and which is fine, which I don't mind. So I rung up the station as soon as my mum told me. My mum rang me, told me. So I rung up the station and said, well, we really need like 48 hours. And I said, she's been on the train since X o'clock. She's got to, she's like 5 minutes away from this particular station, and they tell her that she's got to change. I said, and she doesn't do good with things like this. I said, because she needs help getting on and off the train, because she has nearly fallen down the gap between the train and the footpath several times, because unfortunately the trains don't match up with the path like some trains do. There's like a step and then there's a gap. So And she says, right, I'll see if I can do my best, which they did. I will give them I will give them the due. And then I didn't get anywhere. And then my mum rang me saying, I'm at the station, I'm just getting off the train. And then while she was on the phone to me, I spoke to this other woman, and she must not have been able to get anybody. Nobody was willing, nobody said that they were free. So nobody helped my mum off the train. I ended up having to ring them back. Luckily, as you guys know, I have 2 phones. So I'm on the phone with my mum in one phone, and then on the phone with the station with another phone. While my father-in-law stood in the damn doorway. So while we're waiting for her to get on the train that she needs to get onto. So she asked 3 people while I'm on the phone with her where she needs to go. 3 different people. They spoke to her like she was a piece of... They treated her with complete disdain. These 3 particular... There were 3 separate individuals in 3 different parts of the station that she'd asked. And she said to him, you know, I'm lost, I don't know what I'm doing, can you please help me? I need to find this platform, I need to go to York. Like I said, 3 different people gave her 3 different sets of advice, which made her even more lost. She missed the train, the replacement train. Oh yeah, because she was given the wrong information. She was sent to a completely the wrong platform. Like I said, she was spoken to like she was nothing, like she was a piece of turd that they'd wiped off their floor. These 3 people, like I said, there were 3 different people, and they were all with somebody else. And they were all just nattering, they were all just gossiping. And not one of them were busy. Not one of them was helping somebody. One of them could have said, I'll take you to the platform, I can see you struggling. Not one of them did that. They spoke to her like she was a piece of shit. Sorry, I don't like swearing. And they spoke to her like she was worthless. Obviously that upset her. I'm trying to talk to on one side, I'm trying to talk to my mum on the other side. And at the same time, my husband's trying to find the next train platform. So I end up with both my phones and his phone because I need to find the next train from that platform to here. I managed to find one which is coming from somewhere up north. And I said, right, get to this platform, what platform are you on? Luckily, the platform for this other train was not far from the platform she was on. I said, well, you need to be on this platform, so keep walking down and you should be able to find it. So I'm on the phone to my mum while she's walking down to make sure she gets on the right train. While I'm on the phone with Northern, I'm like, look, I've just heard the way they've spoken to my mother. I have just heard what they've just said to her. This is what they've said, this is what they've done. He was mad. I said, it isn't fair. I said, yeah, I understand the whole booking thing, I get that, but that train wasn't supposed to stop there. That train was, there was no, the whole point of her being on the train that she was on is that it goes directly from Accrington to York with no stops in between. And I said, that is the whole point of her being on that train, because she doesn't do well with changing. I said, because she needs support. I said, my dad puts her on the train at one side and my husband picks her up at the other side. I said, that's the routine we have. And because me and my dad talk about it and we plan the journey and we, this is the time the train's leaving, this is the time we don't get into York, blah, 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 blah. We know the process. Obviously, yes, sometimes something happens with the train, it's not working properly, whatever, so they have to change, fine. But why not tell people beforehand, oh, this train will be changing at X station because there's a fault or whatever. And then that makes people that are iffy about, getting on and off trains, gives them the opportunity to wait for the next train. So we complained to a body that deals with complaints with relation to the railways. And they said, really, well, we need to let the company deal with it first. So we sent the letter over. I said, fine, not a problem. They sent the same reply we've had the last... This is the 8th time that it's happened. I think it's something like the 6th or 7th time we've complained. Every time we've had the exact same response. Every time. And I said to her, I said, you know, I said, every time, I said, it's the exact same. I said, she's spoken to like she's a piece of shit. I said, and this is the response we get. I said, it isn't enough. I said, it isn't enough. And I said, we need... And when we got that response back from the company, I then contacted these body and said, look, I said, we've already sent a letter to you, blah, 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 blah. I explained it. They said, fine, not a problem, they'll look into it. So they talked to the railway, and then the railway just gave them the same answer about the booking, which I got an email about this morning. So I read the email, and I rang her up and I said, look, I said, the booking thing isn't the issue. I said, I understand that, I get that. That's not the problem. I said, there's two major problems. One, they didn't let us know that the train would be stopping at this particular station, because if we'd have known, she'd have not gone on that train. I said, and B, I said, it's the way she was treated by their staff at their station. And I said, and she said, well, if you'd have booked support at any of the stations, it would have transferred. And I said, no, it wouldn't. I said, because the three stations in question, which is Accrington and York, are owned by 3 different companies. One's owned by Network Rail, I think, which is Accrington. The other one is owned by, and the one in York is owned by Virgin. Now, this would never happen with Virgin, because yes, you can book support at Virgin stations, but they also have a lot of staff there to help you, that are literally standing on platforms. They're willing to help, and that is their job. I have never seen or heard anybody treat somebody like that at York Station, ever. And I've travelled, before me and the husband got together, I travelled back and forth several times. Before we got together, before I moved over, I travelled backwards and forwards several times. The other major train station I've used is Preston, and I never got treated this way at Preston, and neither did Mum on the times that we've used Preston station. I've never been treated this way at Manchester. I've only seen this happen at station. And I said to her, I said, the issue is, I said, is the way they spoke to her and the way they treat her. They spoke to her like she was subhuman. They spoke to her like she was worth nothing because she was disabled and she was confused. The woman's on morphine, for crying out loud, which is one of the reasons why we don't like these things happening, because morphine can confuse you. So we like it, that's why we do it the way we do it, so that there's no issues. But obviously, like I said, these things do happen. But you expect people to, if somebody's visibly struggling, which she was, you would expect them to help her, wouldn't you? So I spoke to the woman on the phone, and I said, look, I said, I appreciate that issue. I said, the issue is the language and the behaviour towards my mother. That is the issue. That is the problem that I have. I said, the problem isn't the booking. I said, I get that, I understand that. The problem is the way they treat her. I said, and the fact that there was nobody that was available to help, but yet they're doing nothing. So she says, well, we need to know what your mother wants out of this. I said, well, I can tell you now, one of them will be an apology. She said, right, she said, let me know if there's anything else that she needs out of this. I said, okay, so I've rung my mum, and I spoke to my mum. And she says, well, I want a written apology that's posted, which I get, because Mum doesn't do internet that well. And she wants her train for the cost of the ticket she was travelling on refunded, which is all of 26 quid. I know it's not a lot, it's the principle, because you do not treat somebody who is in the 60s, who is disabled, like they are worthless. We have enough issues with discrimination against disabled people for this to happen in a big train station. If it was a smaller train station, then maybe I'd understand it, because they wouldn't have many staff. But the station I'm talking about is one of the biggest. You know, granted, it's not as big as York. I don't think it might be, actually. But you don't talk to and treat people like they're a piece of shit just because they walk with a frame. They spoke to her like she was worth nothing. Like she was worth nothing at all. And it's upsetting for me. It is upsetting for me. The more after I spoke to the woman, like I say, I spoke to my mum and then I emailed the woman back. It's not like my mum's after thousands of pounds off them. My mum's not after exposing them or anything like that. That's one of the reasons why I am not saying her name in this. It's not the reason why I'm not saying the platform name, the dates or the time, or the station name or the company name. Because this is more a cautionary tale for those that are disabled. That although we're not supposed to be discriminated against, we are. Now, in some places, I get the way that some people behave because of accessibility issues, things like that. Fine. When I went to London, there was a couple of stations we went to that unfortunately there was no lifts. But I was lucky that although I struggle, I can still go up and down steps. And I had one person with wheels and then another person with, I had one hand on the rail and one hand on them, so it's like either my husband had my wheels and our friend had my arm, or the other way around. My friend had the wheels and my husband had my arm. But I have never been mistreated like this anywhere. And for this to have happened multiple times, and we have complained multiple times, and this is still happening, is enraging. It's one of those things that these issues that we have are not as commonplace as they used to be. And, you know, like 60, 70 years ago, people like me and my mother would probably be hidden away from society. But we're not anymore. We are allowed to have as good of a life as we possibly can. Now, when people treat people with disabilities with such disrespect and disdain, it upsets me. I'm even getting upset now with it. And with this being my mother, makes it that little bit worse. If you see somebody at anywhere that is disabled, that looks lost, or doesn't know what that's confused, try and help them, whether you're a member of staff or not. Try and help them. There is nearly 30 years between me and my mum. And she is as strong as she possibly can with the issues that she has. She is going worse. She is getting worse, as am I. And there are issues that we both have that we can do essentially nothing about because they're genetic and they're ingrained and there's literally nothing we can do. Now, if you work for a company, any company that deals with people, please make sure you treat people with disabilities with respect, because there is somebody with feelings on the other side of that. And I've always tried my best because I've known people in my life be disabled. I'm disabled and I've been like this now for, next year will be 9 years, next February will be 9 years. Yes, I've had EDS all my life, but it got worse just under 9 years ago. I had what's called a trigger event. I'll leave that video up in the iCard. But all I wanted is for my mother to be treated with a little bit of respect and for her to receive help if she's lost. And she was lost and she didn't have a clue what she was doing. I was having to tell her where to go from here. And where here is compared to where that station was, there is a lot of miles between the two of us. Hell of a lot of miles. Now, like I say, I don't know when this is going to go up, whether this is going to go up before we get a actual response from the company or not. I don't know yet. My mum knows I'm doing the video, but obviously she doesn't want much of the details putting out, which is fine. But like I say, we have a set routine when she comes over. That if she's coming over by train, my dad makes sure she gets on the train at one stop, my husband picks her up from the other, or when that doesn't happen, either me and one of our friends or me and my parents-in-laws will go over and get her. So one of those two happen. And it's one of those things that I just wanted her to be treated with respect. And in this instance, she wasn't. She was treated with complete and utter disdain and annoyance. They didn't want to be bothered with her. They didn't want her to have to deal with it or address it or talk to her. Which isn't fair. It isn't fair in any way, because, like I say, the woman's disabled. She's in her 60s and she's on morphine. Like I say, the issue isn't the whole you have to book the support. That isn't the issue. The issue is the way she was spoken to, when all she did was ask for help. She literally said, I'm lost, I need to get to this particular, I was on the train from Accrington to York, but it ended here. I need a bit of help going to the correct platform. Not one of them bothered. And when they did give her information, it was completely the wrong information and made her get even more lost. Luckily, the next train that was to York from this particular station was not far from the platform that she was lost on. So that was a benefit, but that's not the point. She was supposed to be on a completely different platform to catch the replacement train that they put on. So, for the people that were getting off the one from Accrington. So please, treat people with disabilities with respect.